Or a man who can remain calm under pressure shows a level of strength that goes far beyond muscles, money, or material possessions. Or calmness is the outer expression of inner mastery. It is the quiet confidence of someone who doesn't get shaken by small inconveniences, unexpected challenges, or emotional storms. When a man is calm, he communicates that he has control not just over his actions, but over his mind and emotions. Or that is rare in a world where most people overreact, complain, or panic at the slightest trigger. Calmness is not passivity, and it is not weakness, or it is the ability to stay grounded no matter what is happening around you. It signals to others that you are not easily broken, or that you have an inner reserve of strength that does not require approval or validation to remain steady. Women, in particular, are sensitive to this kind of energy, or they can feel when a man is unsettled, when his emotions run his decisions, or when he lacks control over himself. That kind of instability creates anxiety, or because it signals unreliability and weakness. On the other hand, when a woman encounters a man who is calm, who doesn't flinch when challenged, or who doesn't rush to defend himself or seek reassurance, she feels the depth of his presence. His stillness makes her feel secure. His measured responses create trust, or his ability to stay balanced shows her that he is capable of leading himself and others. That is why calmness is so deeply tied to masculine strength, or because it touches an instinctive part of a woman's attraction to stability and safety. Calmness also reveals patience, and patience is another form of power. Or a man who can wait without agitation is a man who is not desperate. Desperation repels because it exposes neediness and insecurity. Calmness says the opposite, or it says you are in control of your desires. You don't need immediate gratification, and you can stand firm while the world rushes around you. Or this patience makes a man's decisions more thoughtful, his actions more deliberate, and his presence more commanding. Or people notice when someone is not easily swayed by urgency or pressure, because in that steadiness there is authority. Or a calm man shows that he trusts himself enough to hold the line, to let things unfold without losing his center. In social situations, calmness draws attention without effort. Or instead of being the loudest in the room, the calm man becomes magnetic precisely because he is not trying to prove himself. He doesn't fidget, or he doesn't rush into conversations. He doesn't need to dominate with noise. He simply exists in a composed manner, and that composure creates curiosity. Or people wonder what gives him that ease, what allows him to remain so self-assured when others are competing for attention. Or his silence carries more weight than the chatter of others, because silence paired with calm energy feels powerful and intentional. Women are particularly drawn to this, or because it stands in sharp contrast to the insecurity of men who feel they must always perform to be noticed. Another reason calmness signals strength is because it shows emotional discipline. Or anyone can get angry, raise their voice, or react impulsively. That requires no skill. But a man who can stay calm in the face of insult, rejection, or challenge shows mastery over himself. He proves that his self-worth is not dictated by external events or the opinions of others. That is a profound strength, or because it makes him untouchable. A man like this cannot be manipulated easily. He cannot be provoked into foolishness, and he cannot be destabilized by temporary setbacks. Or women see this as security, men see this as authority, and the world at large respects it. Calmness then becomes a shield as well as a weapon, or it protects a man from his own weaknesses, and it commands respect from those around him. Women are deeply intuitive beings, often sensing what cannot be explained in words. Or they may hear what a man says, but they feel what he radiates on a much deeper level. This is why the energy a man carries often matters more than the actual words he chooses. Or a man could say all the right things, but if his energy feels anxious, needy, or unstable, women sense the disconnect immediately. On the other hand, or a man who speaks little yet carries himself with calm certainty will have an undeniable impact because she feels it before she rationalizes it. Or energy is the language of attraction, and women are fluent in it. When a man is calm, his energy communicates safety, his tone is steady, his movements are measured, or his eyes are clear and his presence feels grounded. This doesn't just attract a woman, it soothes her. In his calmness, or she feels that she does not need to take on masculine energy herself. She doesn't have to control, fix, or lead, or because his composure allows her to relax into her natural state. That shift alone is powerful. Or because many women in today's world are forced into positions of constant stress and leadership, often around men who lack stability. Or so when she encounters a man who radiates calm, it feels like a rare gift. His energy allows her to breathe, and that breathing space is where attraction begins to grow. In contrast, when a man is restless, reactive, or emotionally unstable, the energy he projects creates tension. Or a woman may not even understand why she feels uneasy, but her body and instincts register it before her mind does. Or she may describe it as something feels off, or I can't relax around him. What she is really experiencing is the energy of instability. Or a man who cannot manage his own state will unconsciously project that burden onto others, and women, being highly sensitive to emotional cues, pick it up instantly. Or this is why words alone cannot build attraction if the energy behind them is inconsistent. A compliment from a calm, grounded man feels genuine and impactful, or while the same words from a nervous, uncertain man may feel forced or manipulative. Energy is also expressed through body language, and women notice it all. The way a man sits or stands, breathes, and holds eye contact tells her more than his sentences ever could. A man whose body is relaxed but alert communicates confidence without trying. Or he is not slouched in weakness, nor is he stiff with insecurity. His body reflects balance, and that balance makes his presence magnetic. On the other hand, fidgeting or avoiding eye contact or speaking too fast sends signals of insecurity that no clever phrase can hide. She doesn't consciously analyze these things, she feels them. And her feelings guide her perception of the man standing in front of her. Another layer to this is emotional congruence. Women are highly skilled at detecting when a man's words do not match his emotions. If he says he is confident but his energy screams desperation, she feels the misalignment. Or this disconnect triggers distrust because on a primal level it signals danger. Conversely, when a man's energy matches his words, when his calm presence aligns with his confident statements, she feels truth in him. That congruence builds trust and attraction effortlessly. It is less about rehearsing lines and more about embodying a state of being that naturally communicates calm confidence. A calm man also affects the emotional state of the woman near him. Emotions are contagious, and women are often more open to receiving them than men realize. When he remains grounded, his presence stabilizes her heartbeat slows, or her mind quiets, and she feels more feminine in his space. She doesn't feel judged, rushed, or pressured. Instead, she feels guided by his steady rhythm. This is not something she consciously thinks about, it is something she experiences. The calm energy of a man changes the atmosphere of the room and reshapes the dynamic between him and the woman, creating a magnetic pull without effort. In a world overflowing with noise, distraction, and people constantly seeking attention, rarity becomes one of the most valuable qualities a man can have. Everywhere you look, men are trying to prove themselves by being the loudest in the room, or showing off material possessions, chasing validation on social media, or competing with each other for recognition. This constant noise makes most men blend into the same category, and because it is so common, it loses value. What stands out in such an environment is not more noise, but the opposite of it. Calmness, composure, and unshakable presence become rare, and anything rare automatically becomes more desirable. Just like a diamond is valuable because it is scarce, the calm or grounded man becomes valuable because he is uncommon. In a world of chaos, women are naturally drawn to what is uncommon. When a woman sees that most men react emotionally, or lose their temper, or constantly chase approval, she notices the pattern. When she then meets a man who is not rattled, who does not over-explain himself, or who does not feel the need to shout for attention, she instantly recognizes him as different. That difference makes her curious, and curiosity is one of the strongest sparks of attraction. She begins to wonder why he is so calm, what gives him that certainty, and why he does not behave like the majority. Or this sense of mystery pulls her toward him, not because he is trying to impress her, but because his energy communicates something that cannot be easily found elsewhere. Scarcity also creates respect. When a man does not make himself overly available, or when he does not rush to please or overextend himself to win affection, women perceive him as higher value. Or this is not about playing games, but about embodying the natural truth that what is rare cannot be taken for granted. Or a man who values his time and energy does not waste it on everyone, and this selectiveness makes him more appealing. Women may find many men attractive on the surface, but they deeply desire the one who does not need to compete because he is already complete. His calmness is proof that he is not desperate, or that he does not live in fear of losing something, and that his worth does not depend on outside validation. In addition, the rarity of calmness in men is linked to leadership, most people follow trends, react impulsively, and allow external events to dictate their emotions. But the calm man stands apart because he leads himself first, he does not get swept up in the chaos around him. He walks at his own pace, makes decisions deliberately, and refuses to be controlled by urgency or pressure. That kind of independence is rare, and rarity inspires admiration. A woman watching a man like this feels not only attraction but also respect, because she recognizes that he has qualities many men lack. The very fact that few men embody this level of composure makes the ones who do stand out even more strongly. Another dimension of this rarity is that calm men represent stability in an unstable world. Modern life is filled with stress, uncertainty, and constant change, and most people are consumed by it. A man who remains steady amidst this turbulence becomes like an anchor, a fixed point of reliability when everything else feels uncertain. That sense of stability is extremely rare, and women are drawn to it because it satisfies a deep psychological need. In a calm man, she finds the balance she cannot find in the majority, and because it is scarce, she values it even more highly. It is not that women are blind to other attractive qualities, but the calm, masculine energy of a man who is rare in his composure has an entirely different level of pull. Scarcity also heightens perception, just as people pay more attention to something they cannot easily access, women give greater focus to a man whose calm presence sets him apart. His actions are studied more carefully, his words are listened to more attentively, and his overall presence is appreciated more deeply. Because he is not common, he cannot be ignored, the rarity of his calmness does not just make him attractive, it elevates him to a level where women view him as a prize, something worth pursuing, something to be valued and respected in a way that ordinary men who blend into the background will never experience. One of the clearest differences between men who are magnetic and men who are overlooked is how they handle validation. Most men chase it, and in doing so, they give away their power. They constantly seek approval through words, through gestures, through trying too hard to impress, and through over-explaining themselves. This constant pursuit of validation exposes insecurity, because it shows that a man's sense of worth is tied to how others respond to him. Women sense this instantly. When a man's self-esteem depends on her reaction, she feels pressured, and instead of feeling attraction, she feels the weight of his need. That weight repels rather than draws her closer, because it communicates dependency instead of strength. Calm men operate in the opposite way. They do not seek validation because their worth is not tied to external reactions, they are detached from outcomes, and this detachment makes them magnetic. When a man does not need to constantly prove himself, he creates an atmosphere of confidence that women cannot ignore. If she texts back, great. If she doesn't, he remains unshaken. If she approves, fine. If she criticizes, he stays composed. This lack of dependence on external validation signals strength at the deepest level, because it shows that his sense of self is intact regardless of circumstance. Women crave this energy, because it makes them feel that they are engaging with a man who cannot be easily swayed or manipulated. Detachment from validation also communicates abundance, Or a man who is calm and self-assured demonstrates that he knows his value, and because of that, he does not fear loss. He understands that opportunities, people, and relationships flow naturally toward him, and therefore he does not cling to any one outcome as though it defines him. This abundance mindset creates an effortless magnetism, or because people are drawn to those who already radiate fulfillment. When a man's happiness and identity are not tied to being chosen or praised, he becomes more desirable, or because women sense that he is whole on his own, instead of draining energy with neediness, or he becomes a source of steady energy that women want to connect with. Another layer of not chasing validation is the discipline to stay composed in moments of rejection or challenge. Or many men panic when they feel a woman pulling away. They argue, they beg, or they try to win her back with grand gestures, all of which expose desperation. Or a calm man accepts reality without emotional collapse. He does not chase, he does not force, and he does not try to prove his worth to someone who does not see it. Or this quiet detachment often flips the dynamic, because what women expect is a reaction, and when they don't get one, curiosity and respect grow. Or his calmness in these moments shows that his world does not revolve around external approval, and that kind of independence is irresistible. This independence also makes his attention more valuable. Or when a man does not hand out validation to everyone and does not seek it in return, his approval carries more weight. A compliment from him feels meaningful, or because it is rare and genuine rather than a tool to win favor. Women sense this difference immediately, or they know when a man is complimenting them out of need versus when he is expressing a genuine observation. Or the calm man's detachment ensures that his words and actions are authentic, and this authenticity is a powerful force in attraction. Living without chasing validation also creates inner peace. Or when a man is not constantly worried about how others perceive him, he frees himself from the anxiety of performance. Or he no longer needs to act in ways that are unnatural or exhausting. Instead, he moves through the world with ease, unbothered by judgment. This ease shows up in his voice, or in his posture and in his energy, and women pick up on it instantly. The man who does not need validation is calm, and the man who is calm is powerful. Or his calmness is not arrogance but certainty, and certainty is one of the most attractive traits a man can project. When a man is calm, his words and actions take on a different kind of weight, because he is not constantly talking to fill silence or moving just to be noticed. Everything he does stands out more. Or a man who is nervous or insecure often overcompensates by speaking too much, explaining himself excessively, or taking unnecessary actions to prove his worth. Or the result is that his presence feels diluted and people begin to tune him out. But when a man is calm, or when he chooses his words with intention and acts only when it is necessary, people lean in. His voice carries authority, not because he forces it, but because he does not waste it. His movements feel deliberate, his presence feels intentional, and women are naturally drawn to pay closer attention. Calmness slows the pace of interaction, which in turn increases anticipation. A man who rushes his words, or who speaks quickly out of anxiety, leaves no space for depth. His energy feels scattered, and what he says loses impact. But a man who pauses, who allows silence to exist, or who delivers his words with steady confidence, makes every sentence more powerful. Women notice this because it gives them time to feel the meaning behind the words rather than just hear them. Silence becomes a tool, and calmness turns it into strength. In a world where most men fear silence and overcompensate with noise, the man who embraces calm pauses sets himself apart and commands attention. The same principle applies to actions. A calm man does not feel the need to constantly prove himself through unnecessary gestures. He does not chase, he does not brag, and he does not engage in dramatic displays to win approval. Instead, his actions are minimal yet meaningful. When he decides to do something, it comes across as deliberate and thought through. This intentionality makes his actions memorable. For a woman, a small gesture from a calm or grounded man feels far more significant than grand efforts from someone who is insecure. His calm energy makes even simple actions powerful, because they are not driven by desperation but by choice. This ability to give weight to words and actions also builds trust. When people see that a man does not waste words, or they begin to believe what he says more deeply, his calmness makes him consistent, and consistency creates reliability. Women naturally respect this, or because it shows that he means what he says and does not make promises lightly. Every statement carries value and every action reinforces it. Over time, or this consistency separates him from others who say one thing and do another. His calm demeanor is a reflection of inner alignment, and that alignment is magnetic because it is rare. Another reason calm men have this effect is because their restraint demonstrates control. It is easy to react impulsively, or to speak out of frustration, or to make sudden decisions without thinking. But calm men resist that impulse. They hold back when it is unnecessary to act, and this restraint communicates power. People sense that they are dealing with someone who does not let emotions dictate behavior, and that awareness demands respect. Women, in particular, are drawn to men who show this kind of discipline because it assures them that he is dependable in moments of stress or conflict, or his words are not empty reactions, but measured expressions of his true thoughts, and his actions are not chaotic responses, but intentional demonstrations of strength. The result is that the calm man's presence becomes amplified. Even when he is silent, his energy fills the room, or people wait for his input because they know it will matter. Women lean into his space because they know his words and actions are not scattered, but focused. This focus makes them feel special because his attention is not something he gives away recklessly. The rarity of his validation and the weight of his presence combine to create an aura of importance around him. He doesn't need to shout, or he doesn't need to demand recognition. He doesn't need to prove anything. His calmness ensures that when he finally speaks or moves, it carries the power of 10 voices and the influence of 10 actions. A man who lives with purpose naturally develops a calmness that cannot be faked. Purpose gives him direction, and direction gives him certainty. Without a clear mission in life, many men drift aimlessly, relying on women or external validation to fill the emptiness inside. This creates a restless energy because when a man does not know where he is going, he unconsciously looks to others to give him meaning. That dependency often shows up as neediness, insecurity, and over-attachment. Women sense it quickly, and instead of feeling drawn, they feel burdened. But when a man is rooted in purpose, his calmness flows effortlessly because he is already fulfilled from within. He does not need someone else to validate his worth, and that independence makes him magnetic. Purpose also creates discipline. A man who has a mission cannot afford to be controlled by temporary emotions or distractions because he has something larger guiding his actions. His focus keeps him steady, and this steadiness shows up in the way he carries himself. Women notice it in his eyes, in his posture, in the way he speaks. There is a groundedness about him, a quiet intensity that says he knows what he wants and where he is going. That level of certainty is rare, and it is deeply attractive. A woman wants to feel that she can join a man on his journey, not that she has to create his journey for him. His purpose allows her to relax into her feminine energy, because she knows he is already leading himself. Another dimension of purpose is resilience. A man with no purpose is easily broken by setbacks, because he has nothing to anchor him when life gets hard. But a man with purpose sees obstacles as part of his path, he does not crumble under pressure or lose his identity when things go wrong. Instead, his calmness remains because his mission is bigger than temporary struggles. Women sense this resilience, and it makes them feel safe. They know that a man who is guided by purpose will not lose himself in chaos, and that reliability is one of the strongest foundations of attraction. His calmness is not an act, but a reflection of his deeper connection to something beyond himself. Living with purpose also changes the way a man views relationships. Instead of chasing women for validation or trying to use them as a source of identity, he approaches them from a place of abundance. He is not desperate to be chosen, because he already has a life worth living. He invites women to be part of that life, but he does not depend on them to create it. this independence makes him far more desirable, or because it shifts the dynamic. Women feel drawn to contribute to a man's purpose rather than feeling responsible for building him up, or his calm detachment from needing them creates space for genuine attraction to flourish, or because she feels she is joining a man who is complete rather than trying to complete him. Purpose also gives a man clarity in decision making. When he knows what matters most, or he does not waste time on distractions or meaningless pursuits, this clarity strengthens his calm presence. Or because he does not get pulled in every direction by outside influences, he knows what aligns with his mission and what does not. And that decisiveness creates a sense of authority. Women notice this decisiveness and find it attractive because it demonstrates leadership. Or a man with no purpose is easily swayed, but a man with purpose stands firm, and his calmness reflects that inner certainty. Finally, purpose creates fulfillment, and fulfillment radiates through energy. A man who is fulfilled does not chase, does not cling, and does not fear loss, because he is already living a life of meaning. Or his calmness comes from the fact that he is aligned with something greater than momentary pleasure or fleeting approval. Or that calmness is not only attractive to women, but also inspiring to everyone around him. It elevates his presence, or because people are naturally drawn to someone who knows who they are and where they are going. The calm, masculine man with purpose is unshakable, and his energy speaks louder than anything he could say.